Man, 2024 is the year of A Quiet Place. I mean, not only did we get a new Quiet Place movie, but we also got The Maze at Universal Halloween Horror Nights, which is completely awesome, by the way. And we got this new video game, which I finally just beat, so let's finally talk about it. A Quiet Place, The Road Ahead. So A Quiet Place, The Road Ahead is a video game spin-off of the Quiet Place movies, which I still consider to be among the best PG-13 horror thriller movies ever made. It's just a great concept. This game came out about a week ago, and it was only $30, so I was like, cool, I love A Quiet Place, let's do this. So the story in this game takes place about half a year into the alien invasion. In case you forgot the concept, these really savage, blind aliens are here on Earth, and they're drawn to sound, so now humanity has to adapt to survive by being really quiet. But we've learned that these aliens can't swim. You play as a girl named Alex. She's asthmatic, and she's newly pregnant. Ain't that just the way in A Quiet Place, right? It's like no matter what the story is in A Quiet Place, there's always an important character who has some disability that gives them a disadvantage against these aliens. Which is great though, because that makes them the underdog, and it helps you really root for them. Alex in this game is no exception. So Alex learns that there is a harbor that she can get to that has boats that she can use to get to an island where people are gathered. And so she has to trek on her way to get there, all the while trying to stay as quiet as possible, avoiding the aliens, and hopefully she can make it to safety. And I had a lot of fun with this game. It's really different for me because I am not used to survival horror games. I guess I could call this game that. I've never played like Resident Evil or Silent Hill or anything like that. So I guess this is kind of my introduction to that world of gaming. And if there's one word I can use to describe it, it's humbling. I'll get to why in a bit. But first, I do want to touch on the story in this game. Because, I mean, it's a quiet place. There is only so much you can do with that premise story-wise. I mean, it is the same basic thing as the movies. Someone needs to stay quiet and survive this world while trying to get to safety. But that being said, the character Alex does have her own drama going on. There are other characters who are important, her family, her loved ones, and elements of sadness and tragedy sprinkled throughout the story. I will say there were some emotional moments in this story that really did land with me, surprisingly so even. Because that's the advantage that video games have over movies in terms of story sometimes. Video games can draw out their stories for as many hours as necessary in order for the different emotions to sink in. They're not confined to a time limit. So when it wants to push a dramatic and emotional moment, they draw it out. They let it marinate, and it's really good. There's a scene where Alex just sits down and starts sobbing. I was like, oh man, yeah, it sucks to be you right now. Literally. Because I'm being you right now and it sucks. Other than that though, yeah, the story is pretty standard in terms of A Quiet Place. Nothing really groundbreaking in that department. The graphics in this game are pretty good. The environments look good. The aliens, I guess they're known as Death Angels in this franchise. How awesome is that? They look great in this game. They're dicks. I'll talk about that when I get to the gameplay in a minute, but they look pretty sweet. I've always loved the design of the Death Angels. They're awesome. But when it comes to the human characters, graphically speaking, I was not all that impressed. They look about as good as Hogwarts Legacy. You want to talk some really good graphics when it comes to human characters? I think Star Wars Jedi Survivor is the pinnacle so far. That was a game where I was like, well, alright, these people look fucking real. This game, not so much. Just saying. But now we come to it. The gameplay. Playing this game was a lot of fun because, like I said, it was kind of a different experience for me. I mean, it's A Quiet Place, the video game, so you're moving really slowly because this is a first-person game, and in first-person games like this, I'm used to just walking normal speed or even running. I'm used to getting where I need to go as fast as I can because I want to get on with the story. In this game, you can't do that, otherwise you're gonna die because these Death Angels are gonna hear you. You can't walk fast, you can't sprint because there are leaves on the ground everywhere, or broken glass or whatever, so you always have to walk at a slow pace, or you can crouch, which helps you move even more slowly. In fact, with some of the noisier ground terrains, you have to crouch, otherwise you'll be too loud. Like when you're walking in puddles, for example, which there are a lot of in this game. And that's where I say it's really humbling, because the game's like, no, you have to slow down and take your time with this one. I mean, just opening a door, for example, you have to hold down the button. For me, it's PS5, so I was holding down X, and moving the control stick is just, you open the door so slowly because I guess every single door in this game is the noisiest door ever. Seriously. That's kind of unrealistic. Not every door is so noisy, you know. Developers, Saber Interactive, not every door is like that. But I get it, you know, it adds to the tension building emotions of this game. Like sometimes I would accidentally move the control stick up a little too much and the door's like, I was like, oh shit. And there's a tool that you get not too far into the game. They call it the phonometer, I think. This thing is really useful because it lets you know when you're being too loud. When that red bar goes up, you hear this like boom. boom in the musical score, and that lets you know it's like you're being too loud. You might summon a death angel, so just stop, slow down. Yeah, I relied on that thing throughout this game. I don't think I would have been able to beat the story without it. Another thing that adds to the stress level of this game is the fact that Alex is an asthmatic, so there are a lot of times where she will be running short on breath. You have this lung meter on the top left corner of the screen, and it goes from white to yellow to red depending on how dire the situation is. So throughout the game, you find these little pills and inhalers. This is like your health system. And sometimes when the death angels get close, you'll hear your heartbeat going up, just ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. That lung meter starts turning red. And yes, that is kind of like Dead by Daylight in that sense. It's some pretty stressful shit. And yeah, that brings us to the death angels. There will be situations where you have to get through an area, but there's a death angel walking around. Sometimes there are a couple of them. So you have to find a way to navigate around them while being quiet. I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty hard sometimes. Cause like I said, they can be dicks. And they're psychic. Like so many times I was over here in a corner, not making a peep, and this death angel was like, well, I'm gonna go over here. Somebody might be here. I was like, oh, come on, that's not fair, game. This one time, this was just last night when I was playing this, so it's fresh in my mind. The death angel was a little ways away, and I got on a ladder. When you're on a ladder, you can't look around. The game doesn't let you look around when you're climbing a ladder, I guess. So I was climbing this ladder, and I start hearing the ba-boom, ba-boom. I was like, okay, there's a death angel nearby, but I don't know where it is. Is it on top, or is it on the bottom beneath me? I made my risky choice, and I chose the top. There it was, and I died. I was like, that's so unfair. So yeah, this game will frustrate you with moments like that, but eventually you will learn your strategy to get through this area and you'll make it through. That's kind of a puzzle element to this game. It was fun. And I guess this game has a feature where you can turn the microphone on your controller. So if it picks up actual noise that you're making, it'll detect it in the game and that'll add to the tension. I turned that feature off when I played this, because I'll be honest, I'm a pretty noisy gamer. Plus there's like, other noise going around in my place. I never would have beaten this game had I turned that feature on, so I turned it off. And I'm glad I did. The tension and uneasy feeling in this game is only boosted by the game's musical score, which I thought was awesome. I mean, it's nothing really new or particularly unique when it comes to tension-filled scores, but it's that silent drone, kind of like The Dark Knight, if I had to compare it to anything, I guess. Like The Dark Knight, they had those long notes that yeah, it feels like that in this game with the score sometimes. It was awesome. And then, of course, when you're in a room with a death angel and something happens, the score will make that jump scare sound, that ying, and I'd be like, holy shit. Okay, thanks for that, game. So in the end, I had a lot of fun with A Quiet Place: The Road Ahead. It was really cool feeling like I was immersed in this world. The story's not that long. It's only like a few hours, which, like I said, the game's only $30, so it's totally worth getting. You feel like this game might just be a demo for a larger game that Saber might be working on? I don't know. I kind of want this game to get a sequel, a larger Quiet Place game, because I'd be down for more. I'd be down for more from this franchise. More games, more movies, more mazes at Horror Nights. Why not? Let's give A Quiet Place some love. So, A Quiet Place: The Road Ahead. Have you played it? What are your thoughts on it? And since it's been a while since I've reviewed a game, what game are you currently playing right now? What has you locked in? Whatever your thoughts are, go ahead and leave a comment. And of course, thank you for subscribing. Peace! Oh shit, no!